It is a real privilege to have with us our next guest. He is Colonel Dick Brauer, a storied special operator with the United States Air Force, so much so that he was actually inducted into the Air Commando Hall of Fame in 2010. He also served as the 12th Commandant of the United States Air Force Special Operations School, the kind of thing that you only get to do if you really know your stuff, and he did demonstrate that through his decades of service to our country in uniform with the special operators of the United States Air Force. He is now, however, rendering also a very important public service, and that is as one of the founders and driving forces behind an absolutely superb operation called Special Operations Speaks. You can find out more about their work at specialoperationsspeaks.com. Colonel Brauer, welcome back. It's good to have you with us, sir, especially in the immediate aftermath of Memorial Day. Thank you, sir. I hope you had a good holiday, and it's great to have you with us.
I did, and thank you very much. It's good to be back.
Let me just ask you, Colonel, about a major new initiative of the Special Operations Speaks unit that you're, as I say, a leader of. What is it you're calling for with respect to impeaching Hillary Clinton, and why?
Sure. Basically, as a quick overview, three things. For her involvement in the Benghazi terror attack, and particularly her lies and broken promises, lies over the coffins of the dead, of the fallen, our four fallen. That's number one. Number two would be her illegal handling of official emails, which is the story du jour of what's going on there. I believe that right now she has about 14 staff going through roughly 32,000 emails at the rate of 1,000 a week to look at those and probably sanitize them. I call it sanitization of the emails.
Not to be confused with purging, which she's also done.
Right, purging. And the third one is for her reception of foreign funds without the express consent of Congress as a sitting officer or cabinet member of the United States. There is precedent for what we're calling for, and that's what we're calling for is for our Congress, our House of Representatives, to begin the drafting of articles of impeachment. A lot of people associate impeachment with just a sitting president, but that's not true. We've done that is true, but we've looked into the precedent. This has been done before. Our Constitution, which identifies high crimes and misdemeanors in Article 2, Section 4, allows us to look at people that have served in offices but are not sitting in those offices right now. There is precedent for this. Back in 1876, a General Belknap was impeached after he left the office of Secretary of War for taking bribes. He beat the rap. He wasn't convicted. He resigned, as many people who are impeached would do. But in any case, we have a list of things that we feel that Hillary Clinton has disqualified herself by these things for holding any future office.
And that's really kind of the key point, is it's not simply sort of retroactive. It's putting a marker down as to whether she is fit to serve in the future, specifically in the role of Commander-in-Chief as President of the United States, something you all who have served in uniform know full well, the importance of that role to the military and its conduct. And Colonel Brauer, to the extent that you've had an opportunity to examine these emails or at least monitor what's being said about the ones that have been released to date, how does it shape or otherwise clarify the nature of Hillary Clinton's role in the Benghazi Gate story, whether it's the run-up to it, the events itself, and the aftermath thereof?
Yes, of course, I don't know the content of the emails that have been purged. No,
I didn't mean the ones that have been purged. I meant the ones that were made public on the eve of the long holiday weekend in classic Obama-Clinton style.
They've probably been vetted, I guess would be the word. They've been looked at. I don't have the details on, again, all of those emails, but just the same, they're probably releasing the ones that are least damaging to her.
But even the ones that they've released, as I understand it, make it pretty clear she had plenty of notice that there were very, very serious security concerns in connection with the Benghazi operations, including from then Ambassador Christopher Stevens, one of the fallen, and also that there was gun running going on under the auspices of the Department of State. And this would seem to me to be two grounds for very serious, articles of impeachment.
Absolutely, and those guns and those weapons wound up in the hands of our enemy, Al Qaeda.
Not just in Libya, but also in Syria, as it turns
Syria,
out. Right?
exactly,
Yeah.
through Turkey and all of that. Some excellent books have been written on that. Ken Timmerman's book, Dark Forces, outlines exactly what you said in depth, and SOS has endorsed that particular book as well as others.
Now, let me just ask you, if I may, about the petition that you've got at specialoperationsspeaks.com. This is a way in which the public can join you, as I understand it, in calling for the House of Representatives to take this extraordinary step. Has there been any pickup, any resonance with people on the Hill to date about this idea?
Yes, there have been. To date, as of this morning, we have over 32,000 signatures on the petition that we launched on the 19th, 18 days ago. And we have one representative, Pete Olson, Republican from Texas, that has issued a statement that he is backing this, and he says, I'll quote him, "She has failed the American people. She is seeking to serve as our next president, and that is why I strongly support the efforts of Special Ops Speaks to ensure full disclosure of the wrongdoings of Hillary Clinton to the American public." We've also had a radio broadcast by retired Air Force Major General Bradley Rayburn, United States Air Force retired, who has also endorsed our efforts. So there's a growing number of Americans that are just as concerned as we are about those that don't support our Constitution, and also our sixth goal under our mission statement, which is to restore credibility, integrity, and honor to the office of the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America. She is not fit to be our next Commander-in-Chief, according to us.
Yeah, and this doesn't even get into the concerns that you sort of alluded to a moment ago of taking money effectively, her family foundation, taking money from foreign governments in what seems increasingly, obviously, was a pay-to-play kind of operation between her husband and herself. And all of these things really speak to the question of fitness to serve in the future. But what are the mechanical steps that would flow from the action that you're recommending, Colonel Dick Brauer?
Well, just in general, for those that need to understand impeachment, the House impeaches, and they can do that by drafting articles of impeachment, and they must have a majority vote of 51%. The Senate is the convicting body, and they must have a supermajority of 2/3. And
there has to be an official trial conducted in the United States Senate, as I understand it, with the House serving as sort of the prosecution and presenting the case for conviction.
Exactly, and like I said, there has been precedent set, not just the one with Secretary of War Belknap, but others also. The usual result in that is resignation to avoid the charges. In
this case, this wouldn't be a resignation, but perhaps it would be a decision not to pursue the presidency going forward, which would be a salutary thing, it seems to me. Colonel Dick Brauer, I cannot thank you enough for both your past service to our country in uniform as a special operator with the United States Air Force, and not any less important, of course, is the work that you've been providing, trying to hold the government accountable and get to the bottom of this Benghazi Gate scandal, among other things, and also looking out for the security of information and, of course, the well-being of our troops more generally. Keep up the good work, sir, in all of those regards, and come back to us again here at Secure Freedom Radio, if you will. In the meantime, folks, check out the petition to impeach Hillary Clinton at specialoperationsspeaks.com. Next up, Joe Connor, one of the survivors of a terrorist attack perpetrated by someone who's now enjoying refuge in Castro's Cuba. We'll talk about the advisability of normalizing relations with that country straight ahead.